Okay. All right. Here's a little weird video. I'm gonna make a little viewfinder to help me make some thumbnail sketches, and then I'll make some thumbnail sketches too. So let's see. All of the I printed out a couple of these from the website that I gave you, and I like this this rectangle that they're using. So I don't necessarily love this Zybots logo. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop this thing out and then use it as a template to make some more of these. So let's see. Gotta grab some scissors. All right, let's see here. Just gonna cut this thing out. When I'm making thumbnails, it's really important often to make them on the right kind of rectangle. So I need the rectangle to be in the same ratio, height and width to the piece that I'm going to design in the end. So if I'm designing something that's going to be a square in the end, then I want my thumbnail to be a square. If I'm designing something that's going to be a circle in the end, I'd want my thumbnail to be a circle. So on. Okay. Alright, so now I've got this one sort of thumbnail that's good size for me. And I'm just going to put it in the middle. I have this is like sort of like a little bit of cardstock. You could use cardboard or whatever you got around. Just a little bit heavier. And I'm just going to make some marks here on the corners of this thing, because basically what I want is a nice little hole that's just the right shape for me. Okay. I could use I have a straight edge here too. I could use that here for this. And then from here I could go in with a X-Acto knife or whatever to chop this thing out. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. Okay, but I'm just gonna do a quick and dirty deal here where I go kind of fold it up in half. Hopefully that's about right. And then I'll make a cut. Cut like that. That should get me in the door. Yeah, and then I can just go back around and finish it out. Alright. And you know, you'd only have to do this once because I'm going to use this this little template viewfinder deal a bunch of times. So all right. Looks good to me. Okay. So now I'm going to grab just another piece of paper here. Here's my regular piece of paper. Here's my template maker. I could probably fit a couple on here. So I could go like this. Pencil. Yeah, here we go. Pencil. Okay, and now I can make as many of these thumbnails as I want. And you can choose, like you may find you would rather work on an even smaller scale. In fact, when we talk about thumbnails comes from the thumbnail. That's about the thumbnail size is about the original size. And that's because thumbnails, and we say it over and over, but thumbnails are meant to help you work out the composition. So they're going to help you figure out where everything's going to land in this final image. And what I recommend when you're starting a thumbnail, so you're going to have one of these. I think I want to work with this little loggers one. I don't know why I like this fake log a lot. So I'm going to start by thinking about this one. So whenever I'm doing work like this, I definitely have my research material out in front of me. And the first thing that I would do with something like this is start drawing. You can't be afraid to make some marks. So I'm going to make some horizontal and vertical marks here on this thing. But mostly what I'm first looking at is kind of these largest things. What are the biggest things? So I'm also kind of like creeping up on it. You may be able to just see I'm kind of just, I noticed there's a lot of this empty space. We call this, in design terms, we call this negative space. And you know, I printed this thing out. I can draw on this thing too. So I want to get my thumbnail looking good. And really, let's see, the things that are kind of important about this, I say, are it's fairly central. There's some space around it, but the big thing is this diagonal. There's this strong diagonal, and so I'm going to get that line worked in there pretty early on. And then we have this kind of like splashy thing, so I'm just going to do a little quick splashy thing. And then it's this rounded thing. So it's this. So that's kind of where I got so far. And so you may be like, what the heck? What does this have to do with this? Well, I'm just starting to get the basics. I'm trying to find the most basic shapes. And this is hard for us because our eyes focus on things that are focused. We find detail. That's the stuff our eyes are interested in the most. And so as we start into this design thing, we have to slow our eyes down and our brain down a little bit and make sure that it's actually looking at these simple things first, because our brain often looks at these simple things and then just moves on to something else very quickly. So your step one with this project, after you pick your piece of research, is to, in a series of thumbnails, start to draw that thing. Might start to change right away, or it might be something where you're just kind of working these shapes from basic to specific. So something like that. And so probably wouldn't have a thumbnail that has a whole lot more information than that. That's probably enough, because this is enough to talk about the composition. Where did things end up? In other words, this sketch and this piece of research have or represent the same composition. And that way, if I was to build this back up into something full size, I would know where things are going to land in the final image, because I've plotted that out and I'm not going to have any surprises. Okay, I hope that helps. We'll do some more of this in class and whatnot. Thanks.